This is why Ferrari will win the Drivers' and Constructors' Championship in 2023. Like you know, the 2022 Ferrari had a lot of potential, but after some reliability problems and some bad strategy calls from the team, they didn't stand a chance against Red Bull and Max Verstappen. So why would this season be any different? And even though Ferrari made mistakes, Red Bull and even Mercedes at some tracks looked faster than Ferrari later on in the season. In this video, I will be answering all of these questions, so starting with the Ferrari reliability problems. Earlier in the 2022 season, Ferrari struggled a lot with reliability, but their last reliability related DNF was in Austria, showing us they fixed their reliability problem. Austria was also the last race Ferrari won, and I believe that was the point they started focusing on the 2023 car. Every race from there on they were losing time to Red Bull and Mercedes, but only because they were working on next season's car. The next point is the bad Ferrari strategy calls and why it would stop. In 2022 we saw some terrible mistakes made by Ferrari, from throwing away Leclerc's win in Monaco to the Silverstone Grand Prix where they kept Leclerc out on old hard tyres, and many more mistakes like these. So why would it be any different? Well, that's because Ferrari will have a new team principal next season. Yes, I know the team principal doesn't make strategy calls, but Ferrari's biggest problem was Binotto saying there was nothing wrong with the strategy department. The biggest problem with that is the fact that he didn't do anything about these bad strategy calls, because in his eyes nothing was wrong with it. This problem is much bigger than you would expect, because if he doesn't see anything wrong with the strategy department, why would he see something wrong with the engineers? It might have been clear from the start of the 2022 car development that the car has some major reliability problems, but he didn't acknowledge it. So why would the team change it? And it was only looked into after it cost Ferrari a lot of points. I've only talked about the problems, I haven't given you the answers why this would be better in 2023. Well, it's because Binotto's time at Ferrari is up and he will be replaced by Fred Vasseur. This is a good thing, since someone new in the team might see some problems that other people got comfortable with. Vasseur as the team principal of Ferrari is also great news for Charles Leclerc, but it isn't bad news for Carlos Sainz either. Carlos Sainz said the strong relationship between Charles Leclerc and Fred Vasseur will help Ferrari. I don't think Ferrari will instantly make Leclerc their number one driver, but they will definitely favor their fastest driver. I'm sure Ferrari won't let their faster driver be stuck behind his teammate again this season, as it lost them a few points in 2022. But even if Ferrari fixed all of their problems, why would Red Bull and Mercedes not do the same? Like I already mentioned, Ferrari started focusing on the new season car after only 11 races, while the other teams were still developing the 2022 car. This is made clear if we look at the amount of upgrades each team had this season. Mercedes had 37 upgrades and Red Bull had 27, while Ferrari only had 19 upgrades during the season, showing us where their focus was. But let's talk a bit about Red Bull and Mercedes, starting with Red Bull. Like I already mentioned, they had more upgrades this season than Ferrari, leaving them with a smaller budget for research for next season. That, combined with the fact they lost 10% of their aerodynamic development allowance, means they have a big problem. They will also have less wind tunnel time than every other car on the grid, since they finished the highest in the standings. Right here you can see the higher you finish, the shorter your time gets in the wind tunnel. I do think all of these factors combined will give Ferrari an edge on Red Bull. But what about Mercedes? They will have more wind tunnel time, so isn't this giving them the advantage over Ferrari? Well, if we look back at the beginning of the season, Mercedes was far behind Ferrari and Red Bull, but at the end of the season they were racing at the front of the field. This is because they focused on the 2022 car and solving their problems with it, bringing almost double the amount of upgrades that Ferrari had. Toto Wolff also said they will change the Mercedes DNA for next season, whilst Ferrari is happy with the car's aerodynamic concept. This tells us Ferrari can focus more on their upgrades and improvements with their bigger budget than Mercedes, while Mercedes have a smaller budget to design a brand new car. So for Ferrari fans like myself, there is a lot of hope, and maybe, just maybe, Ferrari can finally bring the Constructors' Championship home.